What's up, nerds? Welcome to episode 4.5 of the Arcadia National Podcast. We want to talk, we want to hang out, we want more people to be involved in the podcast, not just the 4 people in this room, but we want to bring it out to the community. And in order to do that, we're bringing one of our producers on mic with us. Andy, say hello.
Hello, what's up, J-Lo? Oh, he took a sip of beer. What's up, Mark?
Yo, what's going on,
can't
man?
talk.
I
already said hello, Andy.
And how are you, Sarah?
I'm pretty good.
Cool. So, sometimes when we have the recorder off, we're talking and hanging out and coming up with new ideas for what we want to do. One of them is something that I think I'm super excited about. I want you to be excited about. I think you are.
I am, definitely.
So, since I've been coming to the bar, I've noticed that there is an amazing vibe, sense of community, super cool people, and I love coming here every time, recording you guys, and just coming playing werewolves. Oh my god, that's how I started coming here. I played werewolves a bunch, and it was just so much fun kicking Dave out the first round. And
Oh man, he was so salty. I
was getting the salt flowing.
I remember that because Dave, when we were first doing Werewolf, which is if you don't know, a social deduction game that involves just a regular anywhere land town, just hanging out, but happening to be murdered by werewolves every night. It's a social deduction game where some people have hidden roles as werewolves, some people have hidden roles as members of the town, but everyone pretends to be the town. You vote people to be killed. Hopefully you kill a werewolf. If you don't, you're screwed. It's awesome. But usually when we were first getting those things going, Dave and I would moderate the rounds. And one of those nights, Dave ran all of the games, and he was like, I want to play. I need to play a game. Just run this game for me. And Andy was there and just killed him the first day.
that's right. I remember being a werewolf, and I took people out. I was a werewolf, and it was so much fun. I was like, this is
Murder, death, kill.
This is my jam. I love this.
And Demolition Man.
We're making it was super fun, making up punny names and being just goofballs, just in a circle, cracking jokes.
Awesome.
And that's why I love coming here. That being said, we were in the bar last night. You were bartending. You're serving up Jiggly Punches and Miller Lights.
Absolutely.
As you do.
I remember it well.
And we got to talking about mundane
superpowers.
Thank you. Mundane superpowers. This will come full circle, I promise. So
I believe you.
Mundane superpowers. I want to ask around, what is your mundane superpower?
So as a bit of explanation, this is something that I've talked about with friends over the course of the several years. A mundane superpower is it can be a number of different things, but basically it's something that you find in your world, or that you wish you had as a special ability, but it's not something. Absolutely, you're not an X-Men. You don't have fast healing.
You can't just fly.
Exactly. You can't fly. You can't control the weather. It's mundane. There cannot be a supernatural basis in this power. And so one of the ones that I always like to talk about, a mundane superpower, and the big thing is it can't be supernatural, and it's also better. You shouldn't be. You can't monetize it. You can't really use it for an economic advantage.
Okay, so knowing you, I'm gonna guess that yours is napping.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my mundane superpowers is that I am able to nap, and it is wonderful. I work 2 jobs, and I usually I'll be able to have a break in between, but being able to get a nap in and being able to function fully at both is awesome. Another example of a mundane superpower is the toilet paper never runs out while you're in the bathroom. While you need it, basically. So, that's the thing. If you're just standing in the bathroom and all your friends use it, they don't run out of toilet paper. No, that's not how that works.
Right.
You literally,
and it's not like you magically show up and there's more toilet paper.
Exactly. You don't create more toilet paper. It just doesn't run out.
Okay.
When you're there. Right. You live in an apartment. You have several roommates. Maybe someone forgot. But it doesn't run out on you.
You always win the TP lottery.
Exactly. Being able to nap is absolutely one of my mundane superpowers, and it helps me function. Another example, and this is again for my personal life, I am able to sleep on planes.
That's
Okay.
nice.
which I did not know that was a thing.
Personally, you can do that, or you wish to have that.
Yeah, I can sleep
Okay,
on
okay.
planes,
Do
and
that.
that is I can nap and I can sleep on planes, which
Nice.
tie in together but aren't always equated. You know, there's a lot of people. I grew up in
I
Hawaii.
can't sleep on planes.
Wow, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so it's that a
can't.
thing. I didn't
I
know
wish
that.
I could.
Yeah, I
Oh my
literally have to
God.
be paying attention or looking out a window. So
When I grew up in Hawaii, and we would do inter-island flights fairly regularly. So I grew up flying not for super long, but I grew up flying pretty regularly. And so once I started doing longer flights, I went to school in the mainland. I found that I was able to sleep on them, and it was awesome.
So in this, you grew up in Hawaii. Why can't you? Was it just too long to take a boat to a car to this location?
You know, interestingly enough,
or more expensive?
it is, but it's more so that the infrastructure for those doesn't necessarily exist.
Okay.
It is
More
they're
fishing vessels than transport.
Well,
Okay.
there are airports in every island, but there are not necessarily as many passenger
Docking.
waterway passenger vehicles.
Okay.
There's plenty of docks, but there
Oh, of
aren't as
course.
many commercially available. Like I can't go buy a ticket for a boat to another island.
Yeah,
At
or
least
jump
because-
on the ferry like Portland has every
Exactly.
hour.
We did have a set of super ferries for a while, but basically, it is faster and more. There's more infrastructure for airline travel between islands than there is for boat travel between
Thank you.
islands.
Yeah, for people that don't come from Hawaii,
Absolutely.
always interesting.
We're
honestly,
super excited.
yeah,
Pretty much
always
everybody.
interesting.
Yeah, so mundane superpowers are super awesome, and it's a conversation that you don't necessarily have to have any. Like I'm lucky that I have mine,
Right.
And I'm sure there are others, but you know it's more like the one about toilet paper. It's a conversation that comes up. Like you come up with mundane superpowers that allow you like, oh, that would be so helpful, but
But I can't
it's so
control
mundane.
it. It's
Yeah.
almost uncontrollable as part of one of the elements of it.
Exactly.
All right. So I would like to use that question. What is your mundane superpower? And give it to the world and have the world reply back to the Arcadia National Podcast.
How do we
Right?
do that?
I'm very happy you asked. So, first of all, what we're thinking
Go, Sarah.
is the other element of this is that we've been having people like come up to us and ask us like, hey, I want to be part of this podcast. We have such a tight knit community that wants to help us out and be part of it. And I think this is a fantastic way to do it. Basically, we want you to record a voice memo on your smartphone. Tell us what your mundane superpower is. And within a week's time, we'll send those recordings back on the podcast. The whole world gets to hear it, and you get to hear your voice on the Arcadia National Podcast.
Absolutely. In that vein, do either Sarah or Mark do you have a mundane superpower that you can think of?
So
Or
I can jump on one instantly, which would be every time I get into a shower, it is always as hot as I want it to be.
that is a fact. That is something that has happened for you.
Yeah,
that is wonderful.
that is something that has happened to me, but also like something that I would always enjoy, but never consistently happens. So like I would like that to be that random, like I can always jump in a shower.
Perfect shower temperature.
Always jump in and be
Always.
like, do I
like
want it
that.
hotter? Do I want it colder? It never varies. It's always at that temperature that I need.
I do feel like there's some variability in that. Like if you're in your own home and you know how your faucets work, bam, bam, 3/4 to the left on the
yeah.
hot, 1/4 to the right on the cold. Boom, perfect temp.
So to counter that is I live in the one apartment, maybe multiple apartments, but I live in that apartment that only has the one. So I've suddenly
those are the
got
worst.
So I've suddenly got used to the hotel adjustments because they've always been one in my entire life. So suddenly I am extremely good at going to a hotel and being like,
dial
this
it
is
in.
the spot. And then jump in.
So you don't even you don't even have to
Usually
test-
good.
You stick your hand out. You kind of give it a little test.
Never.
You're not.
No.
I
boom,
get in.
full body.
I just get in. And you know what? If I get punished, well, it's a learning responsibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I just. So
you
yeah.
owe up to it.
Okay, I think I've just thought of one.
Nice.
I trip often on ghost holes, but I never fall down.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's in a constant state of tripping.
I'm a giant spaz.
Yet you don't fall. I like
a
that.
constant stumble from place to place. Where having walked with you a fair bit, I'll admit, there are a few walking excursions where you don't trip.
Whether
But-
there is a brick missing or not, Sarah always catches her step. Like
That's pretty great. That's pretty great, which I think fits the bill of a mundane superpower in that if there was a big fall, you'd probably eat shit and fall. But the small little inconsistencies in the pavement, we're in Portland, Maine. The bricks are not consistent.
And you never ate it.
And also,
Even when
like,
they're new and freshly paved.
Exactly.
and recently my my water just froze in my apartment building, and I jumped in the shower and just committed to that perfect spot.
And
It was freezing.
yo,
It was not anything that I thought it was gonna be. Endgame.
that's pretty great. Andy, do you have one you can think of for your mundane superpower?
It's so mundane. It's so. I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
I just. It's almost like a negative thing. I have this uncanny ability to always be the last person to know, like, critical, noteworthy, newsworthy information, whether it be like from the world or from like just general like happenings within my circle. I'm always kind of like the last person to know, and saying this out loud, I'm starting to think that's not a coincidence.
a consistent thing.
You're like, this sounds more like a trait than a superpower.
Right. Oh shoot.
Oh yeah, there's Andy. I'm sure someone told him.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Why did anyone tell me?
Yeah.
Amanda.
Yeah, you were supposed to be on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can, and I agree. That's it's mundane. It doesn't affect the bigger picture outside of you necessarily in a negative or positive way.
Right.
It just is one of those things that happens.
Right.
You just happen to get things a little bit later, and that's fine. That's great.
Or the last. Yeah.
Or the last one. Yeah,
The absolute
Yeah.
last.
By the way, shout out. Did you know that you're married?
I do now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been married within the past year or so. I want you to know that.
I was wondering what this metal thing was.
This band has been constricting one of my fingers for weeks.
Yeah.
Months even.
Just like it's just a metal ring. It just sat there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It clinks on all the glasses I hold. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're all good. We want to hear from you guys.
Absolutely. So please record your voice memo, send it to our email address, which is arcadianationalpodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can tweet us at
Arcadia_podcast. At Arcadia_podcast, which is how Twitter works, if you didn't know.
and if you didn't, honestly, get the fuck off the internet.
Get on Twitter.
Hey,
Excuse me.
I
sorry.
just got a Twitter.
Yeah,
Don't
but-
hate. Don't hate.
You know how
That's
that
true.
works. Yeah, send it to us. Your phone definitely can do voice memos. If you think it doesn't, you're wrong. Get
Google
good.
it. That's what Google's
And
for.
if you can't literally call someone and record them a voicemail and get that voicemail and send it to us, because it'll be that much better.
Exactly.
So please do that.
Yeah, use your voice memos. Get at us. What is your mundane superpower, or what is a mundane superpower that you wish that you had? We'll listen to as many as we can, and we'll get as many as we can on our midweek episodes.
Yeah. And also, if you don't feel like doing that, that's okay. You can still participate with the podcast, because the best thing you can do for us right now is to hit up iTunes, hit up that 5th star. If you want to, you can write a review. It's super helpful. We are in the gestation period of the podcast, so this is a very critical time to get some good clicks, some good reviews on iTunes. It helps us out way more than you think. So
Yeah, and-
when you have a moment, please do that.
And if you're a fan of Arcadia, main competitive gaming, pinball, or any video game,
Being a nerd.
yeah, if you're a fan of being
you're
a
a
nerd,
nerd.
honestly, plan to tune in every week, listen to us talk, and make sure you can come to Arcadia and just meet everyone that's talking, because we're all friendly. We all play games like nerds, like we are, and we just love the community. So come out,
Don't
please.
be an asshole.
And,
Rule number one.
Rule
also,
number one, don't be a dick. We'll get along fine.
come if you dare.
Shout out to the Portland Phoenix. Thank you.
But signing, do we sign out again?
Yeah, we can certainly sign off on this one. We want to go in order again. We'll zigzag. Mark, Sarah, Andy, me. Go.
I just want to verify that a zigzag doesn't start by me going to Sarah.
That's a Z.
That's a zig-ag.
That's how
literally,
zigzags
That's
work?
literally a
That's
Z.
a Z.
That's literally a Z.
Today I learned zigzags are
a
based
zigzag.
on a Z and not crossing.
That'd be a
I mean,
Christmas
I
That's
guess so. But
crisscross.
that,
Yeah.
this would,
Oh my god,
So-
guys! Mark has learned the difference between crisscross and zigzag.
so the crisscross would go from you to me.
Yes.
That's a cross.
That's
but
what I
a
assumed what would happen.
zigzag,
All right, we're doing
the
it-
lines.
all right.
The lines shouldn't intersect.
Guys, I'm a pleb.
Anyways,
recorded.
thank you for hanging out with us for our midweek podcast. Signing off. Let's send it over to Mark.
So I am Mark at MCG or Main Competitive Gaming on Facebook, Main Comp Gaming on Twitter, and Main Competitive Gaming 1 on YouTube. Please subscribe, follow, or tune into any tournaments we had at Arcadia or our monthlies.
It's Sarah. Don't follow me. I trip on everything. Really. Like, why would you like me? But if you want to, I'm Girl Who Plays Pinball on Instagram and Twitch. And on Twitter, I'm STD Plays Pinball.
And I am Andy. I'm the guy who records and edits the podcast with my wife Amanda. We're sitting here hanging out, and that's the thing we do. You can find me on Instagram. It's Andy Barbo. ANDY, B as in boy, AR, B as in boy, O. And that's my social media presence. Thank you.
Awesome. And I'm JLo. You can find me on Twitter at JLoda. I also tweet as the Arcadia Podcast. So if you wanted to call anything cool out to us, at Arcadia_podcast. I'm also on Instagram at Jeremy Lota. Have a good night, guys. Be nerdy. Play more games. Play more pinball. Tell us your mundane superpowers. Good night.
Hype.
Bye.